Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. It's been quite some time that I posted an orchid video for my dearest viewers. Well, here I am. I am back with you all with a new care video. So today we will talk everything about dendrobium orchids. We will talk about their care, how much light they need, how to water them, their fertilizer requirements, and lastly, few issues that you might have encountered with dendrobium orchids. So let us start. Dendrobium orchids are sympodial orchids, which means that multiple canes arise from a single rhizome. The canes grow in the summer season and it takes about 9 to 10 months, not fully 10 months, to fully mature, and then a spike appears on the cane. Dendrobium orchids are either soft cane dendrobiums or hard cane dendrobiums. The one you see on screen is a species, the Dendrobium densiflorum. It is a hard cane dendrobium, meaning that the canes are hard. It becomes hard and it is not able to, we cannot bend the canes. Whereas soft cane dendrobiums are very soft and mushy and it can be easily bent. Dendrobium orchids come in a variety of colors ranging from pinks to purples to shaded purples and yellow, and they look very beautiful, and the species dendrobiums have fragrance also. I have not seen any dendrobium in my collection which has fragrance, the hybrid ones. The species ones have fragrances like the Dendrobium aphyllum, Dendrobium fimbriatum, though sometimes the fragrance might not be that pleasant, but yes, they have fragrances which lacks in hybrid Dendrobium orchids. Dendrobium orchids produces kikis from the base of the orchid. Generally, there are one or more kikis growing in a single year. As the cane matures, it becomes thicker, and the cane takes about 8 to 9 months to fully mature, and after that it produces a spike from the crown of the cane which has buds at the ends, and this develop into blooms. Light is a very important factor in the growth process of dendrobium orchids. They need almost similar light conditions like the vandas. As you know, vandas need very bright light but filtered. Similar is the case for dendrobium orchids. They also need bright and filtered sunlight. Having said that, dendrobium orchids can tolerate extreme temperatures. Like if you put them in a hot sun, in direct sun, they can tolerate it. This is due to the food that is stored in their canes, in the pseudobulbs, and which makes them very tolerant of the heat. Also, they can tolerate very low conditions as well. This is the hardiness that dendrobium has. So here is one dendrobium orchid which I had left in the sun for many days for the purpose of making this video, just to show you how hardy dendrobium orchids are. So here you can see this orchid was sitting in the sun for many days. I don't exactly remember, maybe more than 20 days now. So the media has completely dried up, the pot has broken. You can see the media, it's totally cracked up, there's no water in the media. Still, the dendrobium orchid is surviving. You can see the canes have all shriveled up, the leaves have started becoming yellow, but it's not fully shrunken. You can see the leaves are still green, and the media severely needs water, and I'm going to water it today just to show you how hardy dendrobium orchids can be. You can see the canes have all ridges in them due to the heat of the sun. These days have been very hot. You can see the leaf, it has signs of sunburn, You can see there are black spots, yellowing of the leaf. This leaf is going to eventually die off, and but the dendrobium orchid is not going to die. It will survive because you can see there is a small kiki that has been growing. It was growing in the sun itself, and there is no sign of any damage to the kiki. The leaves are absolutely fine, quite green, no sunspots, and the cane is also very plump, so there is no sign of any shrinking of the cane due to the loss of water. This is basically due to the food that is stored in the canes. They store food for the entire plant to tolerate the heat. Dendrobium orchids need a high amount of water to grow, just like your Vanda orchids. We generally know that Vanda orchids need a very high amount of water. They are very water loving orchids, but dendrobiums are water loving as well. They need high amount of water to grow properly. Dendrobium orchids grow in the summer season, and so at this time water them nicely in the summer, so that the canes develop very nicely, the leaves develop very nicely, so as to get a very lush blooms in the winter. So the growth of the dendrobium orchid is very essential for the production of blooms, production of spikes. The number of blooms will be more if the canes have grown properly during the growth period of the dendrobium orchids. So watering them is very essential. So the best way to water your dendrobium orchids is to soak them in water for about 30 minutes, which I always say, and after soaking them, let the roots soak up the water. Before watering, your roots will be silvery white in color, and once they take up water, they become fresh green, and after 30 minutes they will soak up enough water, and then you can take out the orchid and drain the excess water, and then you can place them back in their original place. Before watering again, let them dry out, let the media dry out, and I must say that they are very water tolerant as well. If you place them in water and somehow you forget them, they can tolerate the excess amount as well. Humidity is one of the prime factors for vigorous growth of the dendrobium orchids. It is essential for growth of the canes, the new shoots that appear, the leaves, and the buds as well. It is essential for growth of every kind of orchid, I must say, and proper humidity and proper air circulation is very essential for growth of all of your orchids. So please check out my video on how to grow orchids if the humidity in your area is low. I have a collection of both hybrid and species dendrobiums. Generally, I do not fertilize my species orchids, but for the hybrids, I do fertilize them because they need a boost to grow well during the summer season and also to produce blooms. The number of blooms increases when you use fertilizer. The hybrid orchids will produce blooms even without the fertilizer, but you will see a difference in the number of blooms. This orchid is almost 7 to 8 years old, but as you can see, the number of blooms is quite less for this kind of orchid, which is about 8 years old. So fertilizers are necessary for hybrid orchids, and you should regularly fertilize the hybrid orchids, and also you can fertilize your hybrid species orchids as well. It's up to your choice. To pot dendrobium orchids, you can use a mixture of bark chips, sphagnum moss, or say coconut fiber, or you can use charcoal pieces, and you can use brick pieces, broken pot pieces. Anything is okay, because basically the orchids, when they grow naturally, they hang on to branches. They use the roots to hang on to the branches. So here also in a pot, it needs something to hold on to. The roots need something to grasp. So the hard pieces like bark pieces, the charcoal pieces gives it a rough surface to hold on, and hence anything is okay. If you do not get any of the materials, just do not worry. Just try to give anything, any hard thing that the roots can hold on to. Bud blast is a very common issue that all of us have encountered. What happens in bud blast is one or more buds die off even before opening. You can see that the bud is going to die off. It has become soft. The stem is also become soft. It, as compared to the other buds, you can see it has changed color also. It has become soft, and when you see this, you know that this bud is not going to open. And there are various factors for bud blast. There are temperature fluctuations, very high temperatures, very low temperatures, temperature fluctuations, say extreme heat on one day and suddenly temperature falls on the other day. So this kind of situations result in bud blast. Also, if your orchid is not watered properly, then also bud blast can happen. And so it is very very essential to take care of orchids during their growth period. Water them properly, give them light conditions that are suitable, save them from extreme heat, direct heat, fertilize the hybrid orchids properly, and then you can save your orchids from bud blast. If you are living in a very humid area with lots of rain, then you will be familiar with these nasty creatures, the snails and slugs, and they continuously feed on new shoots, new leaves, and also new spikes. This happens quite often with me, and I have to keep a very vigilant record of these creatures. They eat up my orchids. As you can see, the previous spike that grew on this dendrobium orchid was eaten up by, I don't know what it was, but it was eaten up completely. It had grown to about 3 centimeters, but now you can see there is not a trail of it. In place of that, if this kind of situation happens, dendrobiums usually put out a second spike, which you can see on the screen. So this problem is somewhat manageable. So hope you liked my video. Hope it was helpful for you. Hope you can take away some information for caring for your orchids. Please leave your comments in the comment section. Please give it a like if you have enjoyed the video, and also do subscribe to my channel. Please keep sharing and please keep watching my videos. Thank you.